Good afternoon. It should be about midday actually when this video goes out. A little bit delayed because I've been doing a bit of admin this morning with some campervan stuff. Campervan video should be out later this evening. It won't be 6 o'clock. It will be another late one. Right, let's go back to Bristol. Investigation into police presence in 3 a.m. Bristol bus gate installation chaos. Do you remember this video from last week where the council waited until 3 o'clock in the morning, had 60 police officers and a police drone team so that they could install what they're calling them these days, a low traffic neighbourhood. That's what they're calling it. So there's now an investigation going to take place. One local warned our community is being split on race and class lines by the actions of the city council. Let's just digest that headline for a minute. Our community is being split. Stop. They want communities to be split because community makes you stronger. Community makes you love the area that you're in. And without community, it's much easier to divide us. On race and class, brilliant. So what they're going to do, they're going to block off the poor areas of a town and they're going to do nothing with the wealthy areas of a town. Or is that good for community? Does that create a cohesive environment of people? Or does it divide people even further? So start asking questions about the intentions of these low traffic neighborhoods. It's very, very clever marketing. Whoever came up with the term low traffic neighborhood, fair play, because it doesn't get rid of any traffic. It just moves the traffic to a different area. Avon and Somerset Police and Crime Commission Claire Moody has said she is investigating the heavy police presence which descended on Barton Hill at 3 a.m. on Thursday to install the East Bristol livable neighbourhood. Low traffic neighbourhood, livable neighbourhood. So what are they implying? That's the same as, you know, when you go in a shop and there's a sign on, actually Oxfam. When you go to an Oxfam charity shop and they have a sign on the wall that's the rainbow, black, pink and trans, all that sort of stuff. They've got a sign on the wall saying that we welcome everybody. It makes me go, did you not welcome everybody before? Like how racist and bigoted and homophobic were you before as a shop, before you put the poster up? So we've got livable neighbourhoods because obviously neighbourhoods at the minute are not livable. It's just extremely clever marketing. It's absolutely not what it says on the tin. Council contractors were accompanied by private security, paid for by who, and the police, who were being paid overtime, as they arrived in the working class neighbourhood, there we go again, under cover of darkness, if it ain't right, do it at night, to install planters, these are the big square things that weigh about a ton, and modal filters to the ends of 4 streets and a bus gate on the junction of Avonvale Road and Marsh Lane, and one local compared it to a war zone. Ms Moody, whose role is to oversee and scrutinise the police, obviously an important role. It's a shame that we need to oversee and scrutinise their police, but as we well know, they're not necessarily working for us. She said on Friday, March 14th, so Friday just gone, it's something I'm aware of and it's something I'm investigating and it's something that I will be following up. The Green leader of Bristol City Council, Tony Dyer, added, I think it's very clear that there are some strong feelings about this process and therefore know that we do need to take these seriously. Okay, Tony Dyer, Green leader of Bristol Council. I have a YouTube channel called Geoff Buys Cars. I believe in mobility. I believe in people's ability to move around their own cities. And I've got quite a good platform as well. So the last video that I did had a good, I don't know how many views it's got. I'd have to have a look. But Tony, this is my public call for you to sit down with me in a car. I will drive down to Bristol and explain to me things from your side. That would be really good because I'm going to be doing that with some of the other people who are on the other side of the fence as well. So in the interests in not being a biased channel, I will be meeting some residents from Bristol who are opposed to the scheme. So it'd be really good if I could get yourself in the car as well to talk about the pros of the scheme. That would be great. And that's also a public statement of intent to everybody that's watching to say that I'm going to try and coordinate this debate to take place on this very public platform, which is YouTube. The politicians were speaking at a meeting of the Committee of the West England Combined Authority, which provided Bristol City Council with the funding for the livable neighbourhood. Let's just digest that a sec. West of England Combined Authority they provided Bristol City Council with the funding to put in the livable neighbourhood. So all of the extra police overtime, the private security, the drone operator team, the contractors was all financed by the West of England Combined Authority. The day after the dramatic morning in Barton Hill, members of the public had attended the committee to urge it to investigate and review how Bristol City Council was spending the funds. So there you have concerned citizens wanting to understand, where is the money going? Have we been asked about where the money is going, and what is the intention of the things that the money is being spent on? Accountability. It's that one simple word. Stuart Phelps told the committee it's almost impossible to explain how it felt to many of the residents on Barton Hill when 60-odd police officers and contractors started putting in planters. He said that a Somali woman in the community described the chaos on Thursday morning as a war zone on her own back door. Why does it matter that she's a Somali? Why have they chosen to pick up on that little fact? I'm not really sure. But obviously, as someone comments at the end of this, there is a great irony in a Somali woman describing a war zone. Hashtag Black Hawk Down. I think that's Somalia, isn't it? Is it Somalia? I'm sorry if I got that reference wrong. I don't watch war movies because I believe that they are all just fully financed propaganda. He said, our community is being split on race and class lines by the actions of the City Council for the third time in a row, and each time that split occurs, we have a greater and greater problems trying to bring the community back together. You're all aware that at the moment there are extremists on all sides trying to find ways of talking to people who are disaffected, and the process is feeding it. Okay, so who are the extremists in this? You've got, I'm assuming, Tony Dyer, the Green leader of the Bristol City Council, and the Green lobbyists. They must be the extremists on one side, and the extremists on the other side, I guess, is everybody that's watching this video, and the woman from Somalia, who may or may not have appeared in Black Hawk Down. Melissa Topping, who was almost reduced to tears while speaking, said yesterday council contractors ETM arrived at 3 a.m. to block our roads off with police, security and drones with very heavy-handed tactics. This has now left me without my large disabled vehicle access home and with future fears for our safety and lives ahead. Can we just talk about how terrifying that must have been for someone who's come from Somalia to, I don't know how long she's been in the UK, but let's just imagine that she's a recent, convert to Britishism from Somalia, has escaped a war zone, and then you've got a 3 a.m. raid. Essentially, that's what it was, going on in the streets around you. Mr. Dyer said, I have listened to the statements and I will feed them back to the Transport and Connectivity Chair. Passing the buck. Not my responsibility. I've listened to it, but I've given it to somebody else. Join me for a chat in the car, please, Tony. If there's an urge on the part of the West of England Combined Authority to review the consultation that has been done in the past, I'm happy to work with whether it be the current mayor or any future mayor to look at how this has been implemented. So that is the leader of the Green Party in Bristol saying, I need to go above my own head to speak to the authority that offered the finance for this, to find out how the consultation process was done, or we'll do it with the current mayor or the next mayor, because obviously if we get a new mayor, everything changes and it wipes the slate clean, as you all know, and things get lost in the process. So that's what he's saying that he needs to do. So I don't know about this. I don't know about the consultation, but I know about consultations because I've covered them before in my videos. So I would assume, let's not assume, I would assume that they asked about 4 people who lived on that street, who had children and didn't drive. Because that's okay, that is an assumption, but it's an assumption based on every consultation that I've looked at so far, including when I did some digging into how the Wales 20 mile an hour thing got in. And you start to crunch the numbers based on how many people were asked about 20 mile an hour speed limits and what they did and how the questions were asked. For example, one of the questions in that case was, would you prefer your child to be hit at 20 mile an hour or 30 mile an hour by a car? Talk about a leading question. Previous attempts to complete the East Bristol livable neighbourhood have been blocked by protests in the area. And look at the way they word that as well. You've got to be so careful with this in 2025. You are protesting against a livable neighbourhood. That's the way they frame it. That's the way they phrase it. We all know that they're blocking the roads, and essentially they're going to annex Bristol into small zones. It's the same thing that we saw in Oxford with the bus gates. Go back through my videos, type in on YouTube, Geoff Buys Cars Oxford. You'll see we've done all this before, and it's basically spreading out. But now, if you are against blocking off roads to prevent access, and we know, again, I say it again, we've seen that emergency services are slowed down by these changes, right? It's all out there. You can find all of that information. But if you're against the installation of livable neighbourhoods, may I remind you, the installation which took place at 3 a.m. using 60 police officers and contractors and drones, all financed by the taxpayer. If you're against that, you're an extremist. Cool. I love where we've got to in 2025. A group of women began protesting and attempted to stop the work on Avonvale Road from 4:30 a.m. on Thursday. Not many people are awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, but apparently 60 police officers were, because they were getting paid extra for it. Also, as well, if you're one of the police officers that was involved in this, do reach out, do get in touch. If you're one of the contractors, if you were there, what was it like working at 3 in the morning? Did you have to set your alarm super early? What time did they tell you to get there for? Where did you all meet beforehand? Did you all meet at McDonald's? Did you all meet at like Gloucester Services at 1 o'clock in the morning and have a briefing? Was the drone operator there? Was it like the scene from Fast and Furious, you know, when they're getting ready to raid Johnny Chang's house and they're all like getting psyched up early in the morning because they want to catch him off guard? Was it like that? Let me know in the comments, or join me for a video, because I believe in accountability and honesty. So let's be honest about it. Why don't we interview everybody? Let's get someone that is pro the neighbourhood in here for a chat. Well, not in my house, I'll come down to you. Let's get someone who's pro, let's get someone who's against, let's get Andy Dyer, and then let's have a couple of the contractors. Let's have someone come and sit with me in a car and go, do you know what? They paid me £400 that day for doing that and getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's have some honesty. Let's talk about the numbers. But the work was largely completed by 4:30 a.m. when the protesters arrived, because, as I said, not everyone's awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Although council contractors left before completing the final letter E on the bus gate, and they ended up installing a bus GAT. There we go. That's an update on what's going on in Bristol. This is ongoing. This is 100% ongoing. I appreciate quite a few of you have emailed me, geoffbuyscars@gmail.com. And I'm a little bit behind with going through my emails. My current email inbox is 13,925 unread emails. They're not all in order, but we'll talk again about Bristol. Right, back to the motorhome. Tonight's video will be out when it goes out. Thank you very much for watching.